Hello friends, a very important section of recruitment where more than 50 to 60% of the recruitment team fails. The stage is scheduling an interview, right? If you see the red marks, which are very critical for you to keep in mind. So the first aspect is calling the candidate and informing that they have been shortlisted. Once you get the shortlisting, by this one, and checking the availability of both the interviewer and the interviewee. That is nothing but the possible technical manager or the HR and as well as the candidate. Reconfirm the client availability with the candidate over an email. It's always advisable each of these steps are basically done over an email, right? All of these, sending out an email that they have been shortlisted, right? When to check about their availability, reconfirm them over an email, send a confirmed schedule to them over an email, and uh, email the schedule in detail with the to the candidate as well as seek a confirmation. It's a very psychological aspect. Once the candidate basically confirms on an email, it's registered in his mind, and he stands committed, just because he has confirmed on an email. Depending on the location, if it is going to be a face-to-face interview, always follow up at every stage. It is ideal to call the candidates to ask before the face-to-face interview time. Let's imagine if the interview is scheduled at around 12 p.m. 12, you call up the candidate 10 a.m. and then a little before at around 11:45 a.m. to check if he has reached the location. If he is going to wait for anything more than 20 minutes, that's around 12:20, then inform the HR saying that the candidate is waiting. Irrespective of whether it's 20 minutes or this one, the moment the candidate reaches, it's always good to inform the HR, right? And that's what is mentioned here, and inform the client, and calling the candidate and asking these are the basic questions that you basically ask. How was the interview? Most of the candidates always say 70 to 80% will always say good, because they never want to say that they have done bad. Do not be disguised by it. Do not be excited about it. These are the very common responses that we hear. Always ask whom specifically they meet, in terms of possibly designation, right? And the name, that's more important. How many rounds did they have? Sometimes they will be called in for one round, but they might be pulled for 2 or 3 rounds, which is also a good. What are the kind of questions they have asked, right? It's good to document all of those questions immediately. And what do you feel about the interview as such? There's a lot of difference between how was the interview and what do you feel about the interview, right? There's always a gut feeling which is actually created, and you're basically trying to ask different questions to see if the response system is going to change from the candidate as such. And it's always good that whatever they have asked, you compile all the questions, right? You compile all the questions which have been asked, and if you wish, you can also make a research to know what the right answer is. When you get all those things, you have prepared enough information to guide the next batch of candidates according to the previous feedback. Also make sure that the candidates have been interviewed only based on a JD which has been given. Please remember, that is one of the most common failures what we see sometimes. Questions based on JD, right? Then if he's shortlisted, what will be the next availability for final rounds?